Hey everybody, are you curious about some of the upcoming games from the Game Awards and who exactly won? Let us tell you.
Don't forget about that troll.
Welcome to the Nerd News Podcast, starring Tyson Cox and Tyler Waltz.
Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Nerd News. My name is Tyler Waltz, and joining me as always,
Tyson Cox.
And we're just going to go over the Game Awards. We were both very excited for this. We watched a bunch of the new trailers, some of the goofs.
What a goof!
And we're going to start out with just telling you some of the things that we're most excited for. Tyson, I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, I'm really excited. A lot of games that I've played in the past are getting sequels, which is nice. But the thing I'm most excited for is probably the Suicide Squad.
And I'm curious why, because when I was looking through all the articles and people talking about the Game Awards, not many people were talking about Suicide Squad. So I'm curious why that one's your favorite, because that's like an underdog out of everything so far.
My favorite animal's a rat.
Yeah, I know.
I pick garbage. No, because I watched the it's like pseudo gameplay trailer, and it looks very well done. It looks like it's doing what the Marvel Avengers game should have done.
Okay.
Where you can swap between characters, you have very unique designs, you have very interesting gameplay mechanics and stuff like that. So that's exciting.
Cool.
And then specifically with the trailers I watched, the reason I'm excited for this is it seems like a grittier game.
It does.
With if you guys haven't seen the trailer, I don't want to spoil a trailer.
No, we can talk. Okay. I think trailers are fine.
Yeah. Well, because like there's a part where Captain Boomerang accidentally cuts off like the Flash's finger.
Yeah, that was wild.
I was just like, oh.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's cool.
That's setting the tone.
Yeah,
you know?
It's setting a very good tone.
Yeah, because it is the Suicide Squad. That's the people you're playing.
Cool.
And then having the twist at the end with Batman being the villain.
Yeah. So if you had to give like 3 good points and 3 red flags, and it doesn't have to be 3, what are the pros and cons from the trailer that you picked up immediately?
From that trailer specifically?
Yes.
Okay.
Or from what you know about it.
Okay. It's really just a couple of trailers. Again, it's the gameplay looks good.
Yep.
The character designs are really well. And it looks like you're dealing with DC heroes as villains.
Okay.
Those are 3 positives. The worries I have, Harley Quinn's voice isn't my favorite iteration.
I thought the same thing. The biggest con for me, I hated her voice. Her voice actually like bothered me to listen to.
Yeah, because it feels like
somebody trying really hard to get Harley Quinn.
Yeah, instead of just being like a human who's from what, Brooklyn? I don't know. Somewhere in New York.
Yeah, right.
Hey, write in. Leave a comment. Tell me I'm an idiot. So her voice was a little jarring. Another thing I'm worried about, because the initial trailer, it looked like there's a lot of mobs that were very similar, so I get worried that the gameplay might get repetitive. But that's really like the only 2 red flags, and that's still not bad. I like semi-repetitive is not bad. Like the Guardians game was really great. Oh, it was like so that's the other reason I'm excited. Because it's like what the Avengers game should have been, and it feels very similar in a good way to the Guardians of the Galaxy game that came out.
Okay, cool.
Because that game was great.
Yeah.
Very linear, just super fun.
Just a good old-style game. I agree with basically the pros and cons. I would say if I could sum up all of my cons, it's more of speculation. I'm worried that this might be another Gotham Knights.
It's
because Gotham Knights made a lot of promises and looked really good up until the finish line,
but it's getting a lot less hype.
Yes,
I think is good. I think this is gonna be a sleeper. We'll find out.
Yeah.
But that one I'm excited for because it does look a little grittier.
Yeah.
A little bit of humor.
I think if they really push into the more R or M ratedness of it, the better it'll do.
No, give me 3 X's, baby.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I want to see Captain Boomerang's boomerang.
Yeah. Well, that's the biggest problem with a lot of games that go that route is they pull punches, right? Like Deadpool was great, and everybody was like, oh, it's the first R-rated, Marvel movie. It was good.
Yeah.
It was a good movie. They still could have went a bit harder,
Yeah.
Still excellent.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad, the movies, they pulled way too many punches. Like they overpromised, under-delivered.
Well, I still think within their confines, the second movie did the best it could.
I'm talking about both movies.
The first one I blacked out.
Yeah, it was just it was a nothing burger.
Yeah,
at best.
But with the second one, they had somebody burn alive in front of your eyes.
Yeah,
like because it's not a horror movie; it's still a superhero movie.
Correct.
That is horrific to watch.
Yeah,
someone without arms or legs burning, like that's pretty disturbing.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, and you're still like, could have got a bit harder.
Yeah, I mean, always for me.
Where was the bird or a crab eating its eyeballs at the same time?
Right.
How else am I gonna come?
Nice. So Suicide Squad is your most excited
out
of that list.
Closely behind is Cyberpunk, but
okay, cool. I also am very excited for Cyberpunk. Idris Elba in Cyberpunk. That was another big thing.
It feels. Tell me yours, and then we'll talk Cyberpunk.
So okay,
the one you're most excited about.
Yeah. So I am most excited for Armored Core. I think anybody that knows me would probably assume that as soon as From Software came up, that was instantly going to be what I'm most excited for, because I am a fanatic of From Software.
Yeah.
I know Armored Core has been a staple of From Software for a while. Mm-hmm. I have never played one.
Oh.
My very...
I think I played one when I was in high school. I played one a long time
ago. My first ever experience with From Software was Dark Souls. Mm-hmm. So I've been a fanatic since then. I haven't really had access to any of the old stuff.
Yeah.
I plan on playing them.
What I enjoyed is, and hopefully it transfers in the gameplay, is how things felt massive.
Yes, like the power behind everything was immense.
Powerful too.
God, it was awesome.
So the trailer, hopefully it translates really well into gameplay.
And it was gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous trailer.
Yeah. And ironically, it was gorgeous, and it was the most bleak color scheme.
Yeah.
Everything was grays or like white.
It feels like and this is a weird connection, it feels like what Gears of War should have done with their trailers. Because Gears of War was a very bleak, not very colorful game that had good trailers.
Yeah.
But that landscape scene of the gray city that was just on fire, that sky view of just the red, just chef's kiss. It was so good.
Well, and cinematics have come a long way since the Gears games, so it seems like they're capitalizing on it well.
Absolutely. And From Software is known for those large scale things. Like if you look at the trailers and opening cutscenes for any of the Souls games, that's what they do.
Yeah,
like because From Software gives you a cutscene at the beginning of the game and a cutscene at the end of the game. Like they'll give you little boss intros and stuff like that. But when it comes to like cutscenes for story, few and far between, but they are epic. So seeing that in what Armored Core is going to be looks amazing. Once again, I've never played an Armored Core game. I love mechs like the Transformers and like Gundam. All that kind of stuff has always been fascinating and great. In my head, they haven't really pulled off many good mech games.
Yeah, Armored Core, I think you just haven't played Armored Core. That is the one, because I played, like I said, years ago, but I really enjoyed how you could customize
robots.
Yeah, like you could have tank treads or 6 legs or 2 legs or, this, that, the other, and you can really customize your guy. Yeah. And it feels cool and good. Nice.
That's excellent. That's what you should want in a mech game, right? I know Dark Cloud 2, one of my favorite games of all time that I
never heard of it.
Always try and throw in there when I can.
Have you ever talked about this before?
No. That's weird. There is a robot that you can build and customize in that game, and that's kind of where I had my first experience with it, and been chasing that high ever since.
Yeah.
That game had everything. But moving on, because I won't get hung up on Dark Cloud.
Was it at the Game Awards?
No.
That's one thing it did not have.
Yeah, right. So those are our favorites. And also comment, let us know what your favorites are, because we're super curious, because it seems like everybody has like a most excited, because there were so many different things going on. There were so many different games.
Yeah.
So now that we've gotten our favorites out of the way, what do you think was the most like out of nowhere, like, oh, this is cool, this wasn't even on my radar?
Cool or just out of nowhere? Out of nowhere, I'd probably put Death Stranding 2.
Okay. Yep.
Because I did not have time to play the first one.
Yeah, that was a commitment.
So the trailer is
Wonky.
wild.
Yeah.
There's a part where like
love it.
the guy pulls a gun out, points at the lady, zooms in, there's a baby's face in a tube, zooms back out, she falls over. Like, what is happening?
Yeah. That's exactly how Death Stranding's first advertising went. Like, do you remember the advertising for the first Death Stranding game?
Yeah, because you were like, it's Norman Reedus with a baby in a jar.
And he's naked. Like, that was it.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And he's on the beach. It's so confusing. There's like footprints and everywhere. And then the second trailer came out where there was like the black handprints on things. And it had Del Toro's character kind of like weirdly hiding, which never showed up in the game as far as I can remember.
Did you play it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
I loved Death Stranding. Like, when that game came out, there was 50% of the crowd that really liked it, and the other 50% was just shitting on it and calling it like a walking simulator and, I'm the UPS man, the game. I adored Death Stranding. It is one of my favorite games.
I heard about it, and it's like you get power, you avoid things. It's much more realistic in the sense of like if there's an apocalypse and you're the last person, like you're not going to just run around slapping stuff.
Yeah, well, so the story is just unbelievably confusing. Just
really no way.
I played it through twice and I still don't understand a damn thing. Like I don't. But the core of it is, and I mean, if you haven't played the game, I guess spoilers. But I feel like at this point, you've had the chance to play it.
Yeah.
The A to B of Death Stranding was Norman Reedus' character has something that lets him naturally detect these phenomena that are the Death Stranding. It's the people's spirits that are kind of lingering. And I'm not giving an in-depth discussion. This is just from an outside looking in what you can see.
Okay.
But he has something that lets him detect that. The BB, which is what they're called, the babies that are on that thing, is also naturally gifted in a way. So them together is like the ultimate being able to stay alive in this world that's been created. You start on one part of the United States, and you are literally walking the United States.
Is it a 1-to-1 like in-game ratio?
I don't think so. Because there's certain points of the game where you get in a vehicle and you fast travel. So you're hitting, but like the East Coast is a map. Right, like the center of the country is a map, and then California is it's 3 distinct, massive maps.
That's wild.
And your whole goal is to reconnect the United States. Like if the internet went out, and the only way that that you could connect it is to find the original internet server, and then just physically walk the damn cable to the next outlet.
Wow,
that's the game. You are reconnecting the United States.
Wow. Okay.
Period, after this apocalyptic thing,
yeah,
and maneuvering the interpersonal stories of everybody.
Sure.
So when the trailer ended with "Should we have reconnected?"
Okay, that's what that was about.
I was sold because like the end of the game, it's not like roses and rainbows and cupcakes.
Yeah,
but it's like, hey, we're connected. We can rebuild. It's the sign of hope.
Oh wow!
And then the trailer is. Like, should we have? Like, should we have stayed disconnected? I was immediately sold.
I liked how the guy had a guitar.
Yeah, that was out of nowhere, too.
Yeah, I was like, oh, look at this gun.
That's one of those, Kojima is the guy that is making Silent Hill. If you know Silent Hill, you know Kojima, and he has his own studio now.
Yeah,
I love his mind. The way that his brain writes stories and works is so compelling to me. Like, I love Silent Hill. I loved Metal Gear Solid. I loved Death Stranding. His storytelling is fascinating to me.
Yeah.
And you never understand it.
Cool.
You're just there for a good ride.
Yeah.
And I think Death Stranding 2, I think he should double down.
More walking.
Well, not necessarily.
Include Alaska. Go through Canada.
The insanity of it. Because a lot of people were like, it was a story that didn't make sense, and it was a walking simulator.
Yeah.
Double down. Because I adored it. I don't understand a thing. Still amazing. I remember vividly everything in that game. Don't know anything about it. Right?
All right. Okay.
So I'm so excited for it. I think it looks incredible.
Okay.
But that one also just kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
He was talking about doing a sequel, but with reception to it, it was always like a maybe.
Yeah.
So this trailer was so exciting. Norman Reedus' character was old.
Yeah, gray. You know that because
But
he has gray hair.
maybe not. Because one of the things about the game was the rain hyper-aged things.
Okay.
So if the rain hit you, it aged you very quickly. So maybe there's some kind of effect of his adventures and doing this and doing that. You don't know. It's another part of the mystery because the one lady that was in it, she got hit by the rain, but none of those markings really showed up that I could tell from the first game. Like, if you played the first game, there's so many things meticulously out of place to where it was just driving more interest. It's like, well, like A to B in the first game, but now it looks like something. Like, there were so many little questions that I think they did so well because it left so much intrigue in it.
Okay.
I'm fascinated by it.
All right. You're going to have to study it up and let me know. Yeah. I'm out. I don't know. I do know that it was wild that they killed a baby in the trailer. Like, that motorcycle accident.
Kind of.
You can't hold on a baby. It's fine.
I put my baby through way worse in that first game. I fell off mountains, and he was A-okay.
Oh, that's great. Well, in the trailer, like, the lady's on the ground, the baby's like 15 feet away. I'm like, ooh, yeah, toddlers don't tumble that far.
No, they're bouncy, but not that bouncy. So yeah, that one did come out of nowhere. That was probably my second place for excitement.
All right, guys, that's our first half of the pod. We're gonna go ahead and take a little bit of a break, but make sure that if you enjoy this, tell a friend, like, share, subscribe. If you leave a 5-star review on iTunes, we will read it on air. But we'll be right back. All right, guys, we are back. Make sure to like, share, subscribe if you're enjoying this. We're gonna pop right off with one of the most unexpected thing about the Game Awards, I believe, was they're calling them the Game Awards troll.
Yeah, that was fun. How much did you know about it before I told you about it?
Zero. I didn't hear a thing. I watched some stuff on it.
It's like a weirdly niche, explosive topic right now. Because if you know about the Game Awards or you watch them, it's the only thing you're talking about because it was hilarious.
Well, it reminded. So there's a couple repercussions, I think, to this where, like, security is going to be just way more
strict
now.
Yeah,
especially with. It's really weird that it wasn't since we had the huge thing with like Will Smith.
Yeah,
and Chris Rock. Like, it's odd that didn't cause more people to be like, well. But then I think people also were like, well, it's just video game stuff. No one.
Yeah.
Which is weird because
they're not expecting nerds to act up.
Which, ironically, they act up the worst.
Yeah, we just don't like to stand. That's like nobody's gonna get up.
Is there stairs?
But for those of you that don't know, there was during the upset because like Elden Ring got Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Tons of people upset about that.
But tons of people would have been upset the other way around if Elden Ring didn't.
I was gunning for Elden Ring. That was my pick.
I was surprised that it won.
Oh, really? You thought God of War was going to take it?
I thought they had it.
I think that's what a lot of people were thinking. I'm glad. Well deserved, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where it's like a kid picking between his two parents. They were both so good. They put up two of the best games I have ever played in my life for the Game Awards. Yeah. Right? 2022 holds in my top 5 favorite games of all time 2 of them. They're so impressive. Good. Like God of War and Elden Ring were just chef's kiss, incredible, amazing games.
But during the award, the upset,
when they were bringing up the development team for Elden Ring, and if you know that this happens, go rewatch it because you can see the moment the kid gets out and just casually gets in.
Somebody broke it down on YouTube, and I was like, "Oh, that was slick. That was smooth."
Right when they pass, he just steps in awkwardly, like jots in front of him a little bit, and then like pats him on the back as they get up there. So people were just all confused, and then all of them did their little speeches, and then he gets up there. They hand him the microphone.
No, they don't hand him. So they don't hand him the mic. It's a one in the middle. They do the 4. They start to play the music, and he just steps up to the mic. Yeah,
that was it. And he steps
and
up.
Then they turn the music back down. They're like, "I guess we missed one."
Yeah, right. Because the confusion at that point is just crazy.
Yeah.
So they get him the mic, right, and then he immediately goes, I would like to nominate this award to my Reformed Orthodox rabbi Bill Clinton. And then they just were like, all right, and they get him out of there.
Which A, does not make sense.
No.
But B, sucks that Bill Clinton has that award now.
Well, the funny thing was
in the speech, it's the law.
So when I heard it, I don't think English was that kid's first language.
I don't believe so.
So I don't think he meant to say nominate.
Yeah.
I think he meant to say, like, I present this award, right?
Or donate or give.
Yeah, something. Yeah. But, like, it's so perfectly wrong that it's just that combination of words is so funny. And why hasn't Bill Clinton made a statement?
Yeah.
Right?
What's Bill Clinton up to?
Yeah, right?
Why is he not speaking out on this?
Yeah, he lost his island. So he's got more free time.
Not if he's shopping for a new island.
That's true. But yeah, like, obviously he doesn't give a shit. But it's just, where did that kid just very briefly understand internet culture to just string those words together? Because if you take that sentence when it comes to internet, like, culture, that's a wild box to unpack.
Yeah.
Right? Because he goes, rehabilitated, Orthodox rabbi Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
If you take the last 2 to 3 months of internet, like, memes and, like, news and what's going on with Kanye and all this, it's a weird combination of words that this kid just pulled out.
Oh man, that is very strange.
Right?
That is.
Like, my conspiracy brain is like, did they put him up? Did the Game Awards put him up to this?
Well, we're going to catch all the SEO traction from this quote.
Yeah, right.
Next year's Game Awards is going to be huge. It does almost sound like an AI,
just generated a meme.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
And they just had a kid do it.
But I'm boiling that down to English not being his first language.
Yeah, I think he probably meant something different. Or he just didn't have a plan.
Right. It's just a cringy, because the kid was 15. Yeah, so it's just,
which is great because he got arrested.
Yeah, yeah. They say he got arrested, but it was probably just them being like, "Don't try any more shit," you know.
Yes and no, but like they probably are gonna like have to go through the whole thing. That way, it's on his record because people that do stuff like this tend to end up doing more stuff like this.
Oh yeah, because they get that high of doing it.
Yeah, well, and they have the like it's like the kid that acts up in class. Like they have that initial thing in them.
Yeah.
You know?
And the internet, a part of the internet's cheering for this kid.
Yeah, which
right?
I don't, that's weird. Like, I've done dumb stuff as a kid, so I get it.
Yeah.
He's just going to end up being a stand-up comedian.
Yeah, right. Yeah, maybe a guest on the show.
Reach out, guy.
Reach out. Kid that's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, Games Award troll. Actually, have your parents reach out. You're only 15.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to talk to strangers on the internet
and
yet.
We can't pay you. But yeah, it was such a weird thing that felt really out of place. And like, even watching it, I didn't realize what was going on until after it happened. Yeah. Because it's hard to tell what he said.
It's also one of the, it happens so smoothly where you're like, if you're not looking, because you see 4 dudes get up and 5 on stage, you go, I guess there's somebody. 5 earlier, or the camera was weird.
Yeah. And
then they do and he doesn't interrupt anybody.
Yeah.
And he pats people on the back. I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Yeah. And he looks like a kid, you know? Yeah. So you're like, that's kind of weird. He doesn't look like he'd be on the development team.
Yeah, he's either a genius or someone's nephew.
Exactly. Like, he could be like some kind of Japanese, like, prodigy or something. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I don't want to assume. I'll get in trouble. So I was all for it. I was like, hey, cool. And then he said it. And I was like, I don't even comprehend what he just said. And I had to go back and, like, just hear it and then have somebody else be like, this is actually what he said.
Yeah. What I enjoyed doing is I watched that little clip, like the him up on stage for like a couple of times, and you see like people on the team being like, what is this?
Yeah, right. But they're polite, so they don't want to say anything.
Yeah, they're like, is that a guy? Is that one of the what is
the Bill's kid?
Is that Bill's? Is that Bill Clinton's kid?
Oh man, but yeah, I think we've talked enough about the troll. So let's go back to the fact that Elden Ring did get the award.
Mm-hmm.
So why do you think it got the award over God of War? Because this is a weird upset where people are ecstatic and upset.
Yeah,
like it was very polarizing.
So my guess is because Elden Ring came out of nowhere popularity. Like, it was already popular, but this is like exponentially more.
Yep.
And B, it adjusted its system dramatically from the previous games.
Okay, cool.
And it was a good story, and it was good, and it was a good game. I think the fact that it was a dark horse and the fact that it did larger changes, I think that is what put it over the edge.
Yeah, I mean, if you listened to us last week, we were speculating on who would have won.
Yeah.
And I said I think it was going to be Elden Ring for the simple fact of God of War is a sequel.
Yeah.
Elden Ring took the culmination of From Software's Dark Souls knowledge and made something amazing like what God of War 2018 did for God of War.
And God of War 2018 won, right?
Yeah, I believe so. I think they did.
So I think it is. That's the thing that
just the pioneering of it.
The industry is rewarding the industry for doing good.
Yeah, which doesn't happen very often,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm personally glad that Elden Ring won. I think it was well deserved as much as I loved God of War.
Let us know your thoughts.
Yeah. Let us know who you think should have won, because we did a poll on our YouTube channel, and the majority of people said God of War.
God of War, yeah.
Which, hey, it was great. It was great.
More like the goat of war.
Yeah. So let's wrap up some of these other bigger announcements.
Oh yeah.
That didn't necessarily make it into our favorites, but are still really cool. I think the first thing that we were going to bring up is the Cyberpunk DLC.
Cyberpunk DLC looks really good. Phantom Liberty. I know Cyberpunk got a real rough start.
Yeah.
But
did we find out if it was free DLC?
I'm looking it up right now.
Okay. A lot of things from the Cyberpunk DLC. I don't know much about the lore surrounding Cyberpunk. I know that there's some other media that lets you know about the world. I do know that Idris Elba's in it, which is very exciting.
It does appear, it hasn't confirmed exact pricing, but it looks like it's going to be paid.
Okay, I'm less.
That's a little upsetting considering they really dropped the ball at the beginning.
Yeah, I get it. You got to make money.
Yeah.
But also a lot of your stuff was like free add-ons, which they did. They did do some free add-ons. The Edge Runner expansion, some other stuff. So it kind of neutralizes for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, Idris Elba. Awesome.
Idris Elba looks good. It looks like you're a new story that looks like it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, I had a hard time telling if the character that you're playing as is V or somebody else. I think it has to be V because Johnny's in your head.
Yeah.
But I didn't really hear V talk.
Yeah. They may have done that on purpose.
I think so
because,
as well.
it's the two voices and you're like, well,
sure.
Recognize this voice, recognize that voice.
Yeah, but what they did in the original trailers was that half of the commercials was Guy V and half the commercials was Girl V.
Yeah.
So I just figured
people were probably like, what's happening?
Yeah, right.
My question, though, for the Phantom Liberty, can you hang dong?
It's been a pressing issue.
I designed it. Why can't I?
I want to see it elsewhere. I know I can see it in the menu. I know whenever I'm feeling down, I can just pause the game. But I want to be a menace to society. I want to run just Sandevistan, super speed, gorilla arms, and beat people up naked. That's what I want to do. But my biggest question is this a new map? Is this a DLC that takes place in Night City? Or is this a new area for a expansion DLC?
It's a good question.
Spot.
We'll keep an eye out. We'll let you guys know.
I want it to be a new spot.
Yes.
I very badly want it to be a new spot.
Because, even I played all the missions. I went everywhere.
Yeah. And there's definitely some hidden places that you don't go to very often.
Yeah.
But you can still go there. Yeah. I don't want just more filler missions in the standard city. So that was one thing. The Dune Awakening MMO.
That's going to be a weird choice because Dune, I think I know a little bit more about Dune than you. Also take this away.
Yeah.
Dune, the books and even the movies is very political. Very, you have to do and say the right thing that'll have effects on things in the future.
I know one very important thing about Dune.
Yes.
Spice. It's all about spice.
Yes,
that's
spice, baby.
all I could tell you.
But yeah, with an MMO, it's a lot of fetch quest. It's a lot of big fighting. I don't know how they're going to do a good job with the huge amount of social aspect
of the game
of Dune.
Yeah, MMOs are a hard sell for me. I've never liked one other than RuneScape when I was in middle school.
Yeah.
Adored RuneScape.
Yeah.
Never played an MMO since.
You had all the time in the world back then.
Yeah, absolutely.
But,
So I think it has potential. They all do, right?
yeah.
But I just don't know enough about Dune, and MMOs aren't my forte to know because I feel like if you're an MMO player, you've got your MMO.
Yeah.
What is the selling point to get you to switch MMOs?
You like Dune a lot.
Yeah, right.
But that's it, really. Like, it's...
Right. But like, are World of Warcraft players going to go play Dune MMO?
They
right.
They might play for a month and come back.
Yeah, like...
know?
I feel like an MMO is such a hard sell because they're so rooted in. I've been playing this game for 15 years.
True.
Right?
Yeah, and again, I think the MMO does not fit Dune.
Yeah.
Dune can, like, there's a Dune role-playing game. Very good.
Okay, that sounds like it would make sense.
Yeah, and it is much more socially, like, you have to really be threading the needle on some stuff.
Yeah.
There's combat and stuff too, but like MMOs are usually, it's like get bigger to get better gear, to get punchier, to get better gun, to get stabbier, you know.
Star Wars had an MMO, The Old Republic.
Yeah.
I think Star Wars has the most MMO IP ever.
Yeah,
Like
it has base different classes: Jedi, Sith. You know, good
Bounty
you have
hunters,
two sides:
rebels.
bounty hunters, smugglers, bots.
Yep.
Yeah, they do. They have a great chance at it.
And theirs was not good. It
Yeah.
was they buffed it up. They had a hard start, didn't really capture people. So in my head, as much as I love Star Wars, if they can't sell me on an MMO, it's gonna be hard for you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but we're running a little long. Let's go ahead and tighten this up. Let's speed through here. What else we got?
I think the last thing that we're going to bring up for the Game Awards, and we know that there was more. There was just so much. Is actually Star Wars. The sequel to Fallen Order.
Jedi Survival.
Survivor. Came out. I'm curious. The first game wrapped up pretty neatly in continuity. It can't fall in continuity perfectly.
Yeah.
I don't think anything Star Wars makes now can. So I'm curious how they're going to extend Cal was his name, right?
I believe so.
It's been a minute since I've played Fallen Order. I'm curious how they're going to extend his story, but it is literally just Star Wars Dark Souls. So I loved it. I loved that game.
Okay. Yeah.
The new fighting mechanics and some of the things that they showed in the trailer looked very weapon artsy. So like the first game was very much like dodge, block, hit, dodge, block, hit, block, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you figured out and choreographed the bosses. This one, and then that was very much Dark Souls originally.
Yeah.
But you go to Dark Souls 3 in Elden Ring, there was the weapon arts. Like my weapon, I can attach this thing and it does like a spinning attack or sends out a whirlwind, or I can throw a thing. A lot of the stuff I saw in the trailer for Survivor was him like throwing the lightsaber in a circle around him. Or like pulling people in and using the force to shoot their gun.
Oh, okay.
Like a lot of really cool, more in-depth mechanics.
So it almost feels like the weapon art is just more force use.
More force use, or even like lightsaber tricks. Like there was this one where he was like swinging this real big, like bigger looking broadsword lightsaber that he split into two and then had two single-handed ones.
Okay.
And like just really,
That's really
cool
cool.
stuff. Yeah. Which the closest thing that we got in the previous game was the dual lightsaber. You could go from single blade to activating the other side and carry through on combos, but it looks like they're branching out even more because in this trailer we got the single hilt, what looked like a heavier version, or he could have just been doing real big swings.
Yeah.
I don't know, because there's the different forms of lightsaber fighting. And then there's the double blade is back, obviously. We saw two individual lightsaber fighting, and then we got a really very brief moment where he fires up a lightsaber and then it gets the guard hilts like Kylo Ren's.
Yeah.
So that's in there now too, which is what looked like those big broadsword swings. Which would make sense because that's how Kylo Ren fought.
Yeah.
So a lot of interesting things. I think Fallen Order was the best Star Wars game that's come out in a long time.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited for this one too. The question is if my budget allows for it.
True budget, but also, hey, there's gonna be another Star Wars game in 6 months as their request.
Yeah.
So.
My only hope in that is that they keep one string of games like Fallen Order, story-based, just good games, and then the other part of it is like your Battlefronts and your cash grabby shooters.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario, we have 2 lines of shitty Star Wars games.
That's fair. I'm really hoping for the dating simulator.
Yeah. Jabba the Hutt.
I didn't think you were going to yes and me that hard.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I think that's going to do it for us this week. Let us know your favorite parts of the Game Awards. Leave a comment. But also, hey, if you guys enjoy us, like, share, subscribe, tell a friend.
Yep.
We don't have advertisement. Our advertisement is you guys.
And we appreciate all of you.
We do.
Every
Seriously.
single one of you. Thank you so much.
You guys are fantastic. Even just commenting helps. But yeah. A couple of quick announcements, though. If you're in the Indianapolis area, January 18th, Nerd News is presenting a live play D&D with some of the best comics in the Midwest. And then also on February 3rd,
we've got a comic book show. It's at Circle City Comics. We are doing a Magic the Gathering release. So it's for the Phyrexia, All Will Be One.
Yeah.
Right? All Will Be One?
Yep.
I've messed it up so many times.
You still messed it. It's New Phyrexia. All
New
Will Be One.
Phyrexia, All Will Be One.
I can't wait for someone to be like, you're saying it wrong too, Tyson.
Yeah, right. But $15 a ticket for that show, but you get a free pack.
Yep, get a free pack of New Phyrexia. So if you know anyone in Indianapolis that likes Magic, let them know. Come on out.
And if you know people that like stand-up but don't care, bring them and keep their card packs.
No, and give me their card back.
Or keep them for yourself.
Yeah, right.
I don't want Tyson to have them.
He does. I brought that up as a pitch. I'm like, if you don't even want it, you could just give it to me. And he goes, or you could just throw it in the trash.
Yeah, right. All right. But thank you, everybody. And catch us next week.